Hello and welcome to the show. Today is October 13th, 2022. Let me start by saying that I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Today we'll be talking about stock symbol MMTLP, and there was a massive short attack today. So let's start by an executive summary, the TLDR. What is MMTLP? MMTLP is a stock symbol that's trading. It was also known as a Series A preferred shares. It's basically about 3.2 billion barrels of oil that's in the ground and some natural gas in something called the Orogrande project. These assets are going to be spun out as a result of a merger. And anyway, they're going to be spun out to a company called NextBridge Hydrocarbons. And so NextBridge Hydrocarbons will have a 49% revenue interest in all of this. This asset is near El Paso, Texas. It is close. There's a refinery in El Paso, Texas. You don't need a federal lease to drill the oil, and it's considered private land under Texas. So I made two. So there's two detailed videos about this: Thoughts on Oil Part 2 and Thoughts on Oil Part 3, which go over the Torchlight Energy, MetaMaterials, Torchlight preferred shares, and NextBridge Hydrocarbons in detail. It's the entire story in two videos. Start with Part 2 and then go to Part 3. On the left-hand side, you'll see a drone footage from Founders Well B19. And that's from the Torchlight Energy Archives, and as you can see, they're basically just drilling for oil there. Also, the spin-out process has involved some paperwork that's going through the SEC. It's called S1 Filings. We have 4 videos on the S1 Filings. The first 2 are about the S1 Filings themselves. The first S1 filing that's been done, and there's an amendment called an S1A. That's with the third video, and there's of course a amendment number 2, which recently came out, and that's the fourth video. So each one, it assumes that you know all the information about the previous video, so they are sequential. I suggest you see them in order if you wanted to watch them. There's been updates on the oil and gas assets. I've got 2 videos on that, about 4 more wells, and the fact that they're going to be drilling. So we have updates on that, and we'll include some more updates on that in this video. So, MMTLP has gone under a short attack today. In case you haven't noticed, it's dropped significantly. As a matter of fact, as I was during the day, I happened to make this tweet. I said, it dropped from about, yesterday's closing of $6.69 down to about under $4 at some point, and then started recovering back. So I made this tweet. It says the stock market is a device to transfer money from the impatient to the patient. That's what Warren Buffett said. Now, personally, I've waited a whole year with prices from $1.50 and below, so I'm not planning to sell for a drop to $4. At least not me, at least. Anyway, I'm not on margin. I can outlast the shorts. So there's a interesting video I think might be prevalent.
Is that what I think it is?
You didn't think it was going to be that easy, did you?
For a second there? Yeah, I kind of did.
Silly rabbit.
Tricks are for kids.
Yeah, so that's pretty much summarizes what's going on today. Anyway, so the massive short attack today ended up with the price ending around yesterday's closing price, $4.45. We closed the previous day at $4.47. So that's where the short attack took us. And yeah, there we go in detail. So I mentioned there was some land. I mean, some drilling that was taking place. Thank you, CPLANT, for finding this. You tweeted early in the morning, at least as far as I was concerned, it was early in the morning. And he said, "Told you, NBH B46. Get it, NextBridge Hydrocarbons." This is a new drill permit that's been filed. So they'd like to drill an NBH, a well called NBH 46. As you can guess, I'm guessing NBH stands for NextBridge Hydrocarbons. B46 is probably the map location, and this is a GPS that CPLANT has seen. Naturally, of course, I like to check stuff out on my own on Google Earth, so this is my Google Earth, and this was the previous Google Earth image that I showed of El Paso and the current drillings. I mean, the last 4 drillings that were set up. The last 4 were in green, and the previous drillings are in yellow. As you can see, there's a gas pipeline that's close by to E23, and that's not that far from an oil pipeline that's just a little bit further to the south. This is the B46. This is the B46 drilling. It's just to the west of the B48, as you can see, slightly to the west and south, actually. If you look at the zoomed in map image, and that's where the gas and oil pipelines are. Let's see. And on the bigger map, if we were to look at that in terms of El Paso, it's it's a little bit closer to El Paso. E23 is still the closest drilling platform that's going to be close to the gas pipeline and the oil pipeline. But NBH B46 is close to B48, so hey, there you go. More developments. This will be the 5th drill that is required in the continuous drilling clause, which means that every year we have to drill 5 wells or so. And this will be the 5th well. There was a MetaFamChat today. Thank you, Syntax Queen of the Metaverse, for setting this up. If you want to talk about Origins, got a few people together. Uncle Smokey, Terry Yonkers, myself, Trading Secrets, The Trend is Your Friend. We also had Meta Support Channel in there. He's really good. And yeah, I thought there was this particularly interesting point that I didn't know about before. Well, I did. I learned a lot, but one particular point that I wanted to point out was this was what CPLANT had to say about the history and the drilling.
Well, I mean, they've got the reserve study that they did that showed the 3.2 billion barrels. That study was done so long ago now. They've got now they've got a total of 14 wells. At that time, they probably had 5 to 7, maybe. I mean, just think about it from that perspective. Every one of those wells out there have shown oil. There's a clause in the lease that basically says they cannot produce those wells unless they go into a full-blown drilling program. And that means they have to drill a well every 90 days, or they risk losing the other portions of the lease that have not been drilled. So that's why it has not been drilled. That's why it has not been produced. And I have tried many times to prove some of these other idiots wrong, but they won't listen. But there's plenty of oil out there, and there's a tremendous amount of gas. All the well logs show it. Everything shows it. They're just not in a position. They've never been in a position, money-wise, to complete a well. They did do one horizontal well that they were going to complete, and they lost a tool in the well, and there was a big lawsuit over that. If you read the S1, it's in there. It talks about it. And that screwed up that well. So they were only able to produce out of 1,000 feet of that well. And I don't remember the exact number, but it extrapolated out. It was a very, very good well. But again, they can't go into production out there because of the continuous drilling clause that says they have to start drilling and producing all of the wells. So right now they got 14 well bores out there that show oil in damn near every one of them. I think they said there was a few that they were going to convert to saltwater wells, probably because they didn't drill it right. Because back in the day, Torchlight again was on a very limited budget, and they probably took the cheap way out and they screwed up a few wells. So now they've got a great team that knows what the hell they're doing, and all they got to do is have funds. You know, my biggest question at this point with the whole play out there is they just permitted 5 more wells, and that will, meet the requirements for this year. But they don't have the money to do it, right? They've got, they borrowed another $5 million or what from MMAT this year for, running the business or getting themselves in a position to take over. They have some funds somewhere, or they wouldn't be permitting those wells.
They have some funds somewhere, else they wouldn't be permitting those wells. This is, that's the important part of it as well, too. So the reason that the wells are not proved is because they're not in production. The reason that they're not in production is because once you have one well in production, you got to spend the money to get all the other wells in production, or you lose a lot of it. So that's where that stands. Good to know. Thank you, CPLANT. Thank you very much, CPLANT, for that clarification. That actually opened a lot of there was a lot of insight as far as I was concerned. So anyway, that's all I have to say for today. It is October 13th, 2022. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is this information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. I am Market Moves, and I hope to see you on the moon, because I think that's where this is headed. Goodbye.